Well, hey there, everybody. It's Chris from the Rate the Record podcast, and it is indeed that time of the week again. The new music review is here. A bunch of new songs came out. I've listened to some of them, 4 of them to be specific. I have opinions on them. I'm going to let you know them. I want to hear yours because that's how this whole thing works. You know how this whole deal works by now, so I guess we could get started. But just before we do that, what kind of content creator would I be if I didn't roll over here first and remind you that if you like what you see and or hear today, you can hit like and subscribe. 2 quick, free, and easy things that you could do to show your support for the show and for the channel all together. That's fantastic. You could do it now, you could do it later, but right now, I'm going to get into these song reviews. So first up on the list today, we have Papa Roach with Even If It Kills Me, and I haven't really paid much attention to Papa Roach since 2004's Getting Away with Murder, which even then I wasn't paying a lot of attention, but that's when I was more likely to know what they were doing. So I didn't really truly know what to expect going into this, and I really shouldn't be surprised by the results. This hits so many painfully generic points of that synthy, almost popish brand of hard rock. We're just talking butt rock here, essentially. It's like there's just no creativity here at all. That's actually a really good point to kind of bring it to, because there really isn't a shred of originality anywhere in this song. Like, not only is the style and overall composition just cliche as all hell, but it's also outdated by about 15 years or so. And listen, I get it. Things come back. Some things never leave, that kind of thing. But I think this style of butt rock is just, I don't know. It's just not doing it for me, and it's not sitting well in the year 2025. So overall, if you couldn't tell, I think it's trash. Very straightforward, but I'm being very honest about it. But hey, you know what? If you like butt rock, if you like hard rock, butt rock, hard butt rock, hard rocks and butt, I don't know, if you like those things, chances are you'll probably like this. I guess this could definitely fall up your alley somewhere, but for me, it's just not doing it. I don't like it. Sorry, not sorry. And speaking of things that were likely popular about 15 years ago, next up on the list, we have Mumford & Sons with Rushmere. And listen, aside from that joke, I don't want to be as scathing with this one as I was in the previous track, but this one also feels like an outdated brand of commercial-friendly poppy folk music. It does have some life to it, and it's paced fine and everything, but ultimately, it's not really all that exciting, and there aren't really many catchy moments in it either. It's a very kind of smooth song overall, no real hills and valleys, nothing to really build up to. It's just, there's nothing that's really catching my attention in this one. Overall, it's just kind of a sleeper, to be 100% honest. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've heard, but it feels like something that they probably wrote, recorded, and released about 15 years ago or so, and then just no one paid attention, so then they secretly re-released it now and called it a new song, and nobody noticed. I don't know, it feels like something that could have come out a long time ago. If you're a Mumford & Sons fan, then chances are you'll like the song because it's right in that pocket of what they're really good at doing. Not that I expect them to be breaking boundaries in their style, but I mean, it's just, I don't know, it just feels also kind of outdated. Third up on the list today is a band that I've actually never heard of before, but I was told that I should check out, so what better opportunity than to do it now while they have a brand new single out. I'm talking about Imperial Triumphant with the song Lexington Delirium. This is definitely one of the weirder metal tunes I could have been asked to listen to today. That's not necessarily a bad thing though, I'll tell you that right off the bat. It kind of takes you in a few different directions of metal too, because I mean, we're talking you get a bit of jazzy metal in there, prog metal, which I guess you can kind of interchange those two. There's some black metal in here too. It all blends together real nice, and then you get a good balance of calmer moments and more intense moments, so a lot to take in. The layering in this one too is also pretty good, especially towards the end of the track. I think there's some really cool layering. There's some sounds in there that kind of feel like they're out of place in kind of a way, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because it had me going back and listening to it again and just really appreciating it each time that I went through it. So it had a lasting effect on me. Yeah, not a whole lot of bad for me to say about this one. So then overall, I guess I can say I enjoyed this one. I really, truly did. It feels like some bands I've heard of in some of these metal subgenres before, and that's fine. I mean, I don't know how long this band has been around, but at the same time, I can definitely hear some influences. Me personally, I'm hearing Cynic and The Faceless, for example. That's kind of what the song gave me the vibes of. Maybe you agree with that. Maybe you hear something different. Let me know down in the comments. But while you do that, I'll just leave it here and say I enjoyed it. And finally on the list today, we have the band OK Go, and they have a brand new song out called A Stone Only Rolls Downhill. This one's very chill, has a very bright sound to it, and a very warm style of production as well, so that's very comfortable to listen to. There are some parts of the production that seem like a little off, but they're so few and far between, I don't think it's really worth like complaining about, but just enough to be able to bring up once. I actually also like that there's some glitchy layers thrown into this one as well. It's nothing standout, it's nothing that's going to ruin the song, but at the same time, I think it's really interesting to have that texture in there because the song's pretty smooth overall. As I said, it is just very chill and just bright sounding and everything like that. And that warm style production is going to make it feel very soft. So these tiny little glitchy textures that get thrown in are just something to add, I don't know, a little more intrigue to the song as you're going through it, especially when you're listening in headphones. It's nice. Ultimately, with all the good I've said about it, like, that's kind of where it ends. I mean, it is a little catchy, not all that catchy, but I mean, there is some stuff there. It's not a super great track or anything like that, but I definitely didn't dislike it. I guess I'm kind of on the fence with it, maybe leaning a little more towards not for me, but I don't hate it. And overall, we can just leave it right there then. It's not a great track, but it's not awful or bad either. It's fine overall. It's just kind of like a calm, breezy track, and the lyrical content too is also kind of nice. It's about trying to keep your head up in troubled times, and I mean, very timely message coming out of those lyrics at the point of releasing this particular NMR, so I guess that kind of positivity helps a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad track, not great, not bad, somewhere in the middle. And that's all I have for the NMR today. 4 songs now down, so thank you very much for hanging out with me and checking out these songs. And if you did indeed check out these songs, do me a favor, down in the comments below, let me know what you thought about them. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Do you agree or disagree with me? All that and more down in the comments below. Truly appreciate it if you would do that. And of course, I'm going to remind you to like and subscribe to those 2 things. Just got to make sure the algorithm is happy with me because, you know, I've been off of the podcast for so long now that like the whole YouTube network's starting to forget about me or something like that. So just make sure you're doing that too. Appease the algorithmic gods, I suppose. And also you can find all the places to like, subscribe, and follow all that fun stuff over at ratetherecord.ca. That is ratetherecord.ca. Streaming links, social media links, the RTR Club, that's $3 a month. And of course, the album rating chart for the podcast. So all the scores that have been ever been given, from the highest score to the lowest score, it's all there for you to check out. Just fun little stats if you are into that kind of thing. And yes, the podcast. The podcast is indeed coming back. We're a couple of weeks out now. I've got some reviews ready to go. I'm going to be recording them soon. I'm going to be lining them up for upload, so that's going to be exciting. Just remember that the podcast is indeed coming back February 10th. That's Monday, February 10th will be the first episode of season 7, so make sure that you're tuning in for that. I also have a full script ready for the I Love This Song series, but as I've mentioned before, I just never had the time to get into the production for it because it's a very tedious, tiresome production for ILTS. Like, it's the most production I do for any show on Rate the Record. So when I have time in the next few months, I'm going to try to get it out. It might be in the middle of season 7, but regardless, I do want to have one out. I mean, of course, I love the song that I chose and I want to share it with you. So hopefully that can be done sooner than later. And that's all I have now. Beyond that, I'm just rambling, so I'm going to cut it off one more time. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. So until I see you again, go listen to even more awesome music. Take care, friends.